What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another weekly video. How is everybody doing? It is a phenomenal Friday afternoon. I hope everybody's enjoying the start to their weekend. Sitting down, making another awesome video. Got a whole lot to talk about today. I know you see the thumbnail. I've been dying and itching to talk about this since it happened. But before we do that, I want to make sure we give the proper credit here today. Shout out to everybody that's come out and been watching us. Subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying the new content. Hit the like button, subscribe as well. We got another phenomenal Shop Podcast 304 coming up this week. And if you guys want to come hang out with us, you enjoy gaming podcast on Saturday evening, the Shop Podcast is the best place to be. So come hang out with us. We got another awesome big guest. But on to today's video. I've been dying to talk about this. So obviously, if you haven't been living under a rock, you know that the PlayStation Showcase just took place recently, and my oh my, do I have a few things to say about the showcase and how everything went down. So one, I do want to go back here, and I'm going to post this on my screen. I made a video not too long ago really asking the one big question I had about this showcase from Sony, and that question was, can they make multiplayer games? How is their fan base going to react to these games as a service games? Are they going to be able to bring that same single player quality over to the multiplayer games as a service space? How is that all going to go? And I guess we got a resounding F no, we don't like that from the PlayStation crowd, and that's paraphrasing. So basically, the show in of itself, I don't really want to grade it. I've seen a lot of people doing that on YouTube. If you watched it, you know. If you didn't watch it, go watch it. Give your own grade. But it just wasn't what I thought the show was going to be. Now, mind you, leading up to the show, once Sony confirmed that they were actually doing a showcase, the internet, Twitter, was at a fever pitch. There was some supposedly leaks that this show was going to be huge. The entire community felt like, and mind you, I'm an Xbox guy, but even I had stated multiple times, I think this is going to be a big show for Sony. I think everybody felt like it was. All signs pointed to this being a big showcase for Sony. And then once again, you know, putting their stamp on the game that, hey, we're the premier, game developer here. You know, everything runs through Sony. That is so far from the case of what actually happened. Part of the way through the actual showcase, I felt like this wasn't real. I didn't feel like is this an actual showcase? I had to sit and ask myself, is this what they're actually showing? Now, mind you, I want to look at this a couple different ways. So, one, you can look at this, you can put your gamer hat on and say, look, I am a casual gamer. I'm just here for the games that they show. I like seeing new stuff. From that perspective, it was a pretty decent show. It wasn't a bad show. If you had to take in this show and slap Summer Game Fest on it, slap State of Play on it, slap Developer Direct on it, it actually would be a solid show. But that's not why people tuned in. 600 plus days without any kind of event, and this is what you bring to the table. And like I said, the question that I asked was a resounding no. Sony is not really ready to play in that space. Now, mind you, this is not a shot at the developers, and I'll kind of go down and give a quick list of some of the highlights of the show and some of the things that I thought about what they brought to the table. This is not really a shot at any developers. We don't know. Some of these games may end up being huge, massive games. Some of these games may end up drawing in big crowds and do massive sales. We don't know that. But based on what the community expected, based on what PlayStation, the community expected on that side, this didn't really feel like it hit any type of mark. It felt like Sony didn't really read the room, and they kind of put out a show and said, hey, this is what we got going for now, and this is kind of where things are at. So I'm going to highlight a couple things here. First, they started the show. Shout out to Haven Studios. That is Jade Raymond Studio. Mind you, they purchased Haven not that long ago. We knew they were making like a games as a service game. Finally get to see that. It was called Fair Games. Very, very Payday heist-like. So, once again, a lot of the actual trailers, and this is another thing I want to highlight, might as well been billboards, because they didn't really give us a lot of information. You know, mind you, it was easy to kind of tell this was a heist game, so that game was called Fair Games. Once again, not much information outside of that, but I'm not going to harp on them too much. This is their first game first trailer. I'm not going to make that big of a deal about it, but once again, didn't really give any reason to be excited outside of, hey, this is that New Haven game we've been dying to see. The next one I wanted to talk about, Helldivers 2. Once again, there is a Helldivers 1. I believe that was PS3, PS2. I can't remember exactly which one. I hear a lot of great things about the first game. This one was actually third person this time. So it's in a different perspective. The budget is obviously bigger. This looks like a bigger, better games as a service type game. This one might be one that's sneakily good. You know, this might be one that I looked at and say, you know what? I get it's a game as a service. Not a lot of people are going to jump in on this, but this might actually be able to build a community. That looked pretty good. We had a couple surprises. Obviously, the Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, that wasn't much of a surprise. That was spoiled about a week and a half ago. We kind of already knew that was happening on top of knowing that was going to be a multi-plat. And just to highlight that as well, that was a pretty reoccurring theme throughout the show. You know, mind you, to the point where Xbox actually put up a post after the show saying, hey, look at all these beautiful games on this, you know, PlayStation Showcase. You're going to be able to play them here too. So that was pretty ironic. I'll post that on the screen as well. So that was a W move by Xbox marketing. So glad whoever decided to pull the trigger on that did that. That's what you need to do. Take advantage of these opportunities, Xbox. So glad they were able to do that. So back to the list here. You had the Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. You had the Metal Gear Collection. That looked great. The trailer was a bit shaky, a bit slow, but it did build up to a great moment. That was another highlight for a lot of people. You had another game, which we just got more information about, Phantom Blade Zero. That game looked amazing. But once again, it was another game that we seen, very Black Myth Wukong-like. It almost looks too good to be true. More information just came out. That studio essentially has only made a mobile game. This is their first big game. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, you got to get people excited, so you got to put your best foot forward. I'm not going to knock them on that, but hard to believe that that's where the gameplay is actually going to end up at. It's just way too clean, but you never know. Hopefully, they're able to pull it off. Then we got a couple games in there. You got your Plucky Squires, which I thought was a great game. Smaller indie level game, but super creative. 2D, 3D. You're kind of jumping in and out of a book. Really, really cool looking game. I was actually excited. That was a highlight for me. You had Grand Blue Fantasy Link, another game that we've seen before, no release date. Once again, that was another reoccurring theme. Very few release dates. There was only a handful, maybe 4 or 5 at the actual show, and a lot of them were third-party games that are coming to everything. So I'm not giving Sony extra credit for that. Then there were some other games. You even got to the point to where they showed a Gran Turismo movie trailer. Okay, I understand you have to do the marketing, but this is the wrong event after 600 plus days to just slap down a Gran Turismo movie trailer and say, hey, look at this. We haven't actually shown you anything yet, but watch this movie trailer at a game showcase. That is a hard pill to swallow for anybody's fan base, let alone PlayStation. So that was a tough pill to swallow. Then you finally got what most people came to the showcase for, and that was Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 actually looked insanely good. Insomniac, once again, doing what they do, carrying PlayStation. And if you don't believe me, they've put out 3 AAA games in the last 5 years. No other Sony first-party studio has even come close to that output and that quality. So, once again, Insomniac doing what they always do. Spider-Man 2 looked great. It looked more of just kind of Spider-Man. It didn't really blow me away, and that's no cap. I'm not even lying on that. It didn't blow me away. It looked great. It looked what I expected it to look like. Super polished. Gameplay looked good. Gameplay mechanics looked tight. It looked more of what I expected. Didn't really do more for me than I already expected. Then there were some other smaller things in there. They had a Q-Lite, which is another handheld streaming device. Mind you, battery life is about 3 or 4 hours. That is a huge L on fact that you have to be tied to your couch. No bueno on that. On top of the fact that more than likely it's at least going to be, I'd say $200 minimum, $200. So it's not really even competitively priced for what the device actually is. Then you got some random earbuds. Don't really need to get into that much. So overall, the reoccurring theme here was I don't know anything about Sony's roadmap. I went in not knowing a whole lot, and I left the showcase not knowing a whole lot. And from the games as a service multiplayer standpoint, that question still remains. Are they going to be able to do this? And if they can, is the fan base going to even care? So hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought about the actual game showcase. You can put a grade on it if you like, but hit me up. Let me know. And once again, come out, hang out with us this Saturday, 6 p.m. AZ time, 9 p.m. The Shop Podcast 304. We're going to have a ton of fun. Would appreciate support on the channel, everybody. Peace out.